Hey everybody, JTISREBORN here. Welcome to another edition of my Batman the Animated Series reviews. This time we're going to be taking a look at episode number 48, What is Reality? Okay, this episode here is one of the best in the entire series. It's my personal favorite in terms of Riddler episodes, by far. Like, hands down, this is the one that I go to if I ever think of like a Riddler episode. I enjoyed, If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich is one that I liked. Riddler's Reform is another really good one. But this one here, this one in particular, is the best one. This one has the most clever use of the riddles and the puzzles, makes things kind of complicated. The animation is spectacular in this episode. It's definitely the most creative in the entire series. Like, it's basically like one large, like, nightmare, sequence. Like, they've done those little sequences with the animation, but this is the one where they get the most creative with the virtual reality world. And it definitely has, like, a red thing, which kind of, like, reminds me of the Virtual Boy. But, like, VR was kind of the craze back then, but it's even more relevant now. I mean, I personally have, a PlayStation VR. I play it, quite a bit in terms of certain games, and I do think it's a lot of fun. But this game is, I mean, the VR system itself is pretty cool. But this here is, like, this definitely is, like, a little bit more advanced than that. Because your, like, whole mind is kind of sucked into it. It's, like, there's an upcoming movie called Ready Player One that employs this kind of, you know, technique of the Oasis in the virtual world. But this one here, yeah, it's pretty solid. So anyways, the plot of this episode is the Riddler's trying to erase himself, like his former persona, Edward Nygma, and to where he's just the Riddler. So he's eliminating himself from criminal databases, and then eventually, because he can, he delivers this box to police headquarters, and then Commissioner Gordon and Robin, like, they try it out. Commissioner Gordon gets trapped inside the virtual world, and so Batman has to go in there and try and stop him and save him, and then stop the Riddler. And what follows is just some, like, really creative stuff. I mean, just the stuff with the Riddler, the riddles themselves. I think it's really cool. I definitely, like, really like dig this episode here. Trying to think what else to say. The riddles, they're kind of hard to remember, some of them. The Riddler definitely, like, I mean, I know why they didn't use the Riddler so much. It's because he was, like, a lot more difficult to write for than some of the other characters. Because, writing all these riddles and coming up with a plot for the Riddler, like, Riddler is one of my favorite Batman villains. When I was younger, like, until, like, years later, the Joker kind of topped him. But, like, when I was younger watching Batman the Animated Series, the Riddler was my own personal favorite villain. But I think, too, because the Riddler hasn't just been as exposed in today's world as he was back then, because the Joker is the most popular Batman villain. There's no questions asked. But the Riddler is one who I feel like we really do need another Batman movie focused with the Riddler and, like, his creativity and his puzzles and all that. I definitely would like to see a movie where someone who's, like, as smart or smarter than Batman, matches wits with him, because we've seen physical threats, we've seen the Joker, we've seen, Catwoman, and we did see the Riddler in Batman Forever, and I do love Batman Forever. I mean, it's kind of like a really hokey movie, but it's still, like, one that, I mean, I don't hate any Batman movies. I'm just gonna come flat out and say, like, even the most crappy ones, like Batman and Robin, I still have a soft spot for. But yeah, so this one here, the Riddler is I just love the look of him. Like, there's the whole, like, red tint to everyone. I thought that was kind of a neat touch. And the way Batman kind of trolls and stops him is pretty funny, where he basically is like, okay, Riddler, how can you keep your focus in, like, all these different things at once? And he's like, what? No! No! And I thought that was pretty cool. So, yeah, I think that's, anyways, the Batman, he goes up against Riddler, and then he eventually stops him, and then, like, the final frame of the episode, like, the Riddler's kind of trapped in his own program. We never do find out how he's going to escape, or how he escaped, like, the thing by the time the next episode comes, but eventually I guess they do kind of figure something out. And we never do find out, like, what happened with Mockridge from If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich? They do kind of reference how he was fired, and there was, like, a personal matter, but they never do reference what happened with Mockridge himself, if the Riddler actually got his revenge on him or not. But I guess kind of the mystery of that is the fun in it, because you never do know, which what makes it kind of more unique. But yeah, this episode, again, my favorite my personal favorite Riddler episode. I do think it's better than if you're. It slightly edges out if you're so smart. Why aren't you rich? But I mean, I do think it is a very solid episode, and in the ending episode, the Riddler's trapped in. But this is one that I always used to love watching when I was a kid. I mean, whenever it was on TV, like I'd really want more episodes with the Riddler because I felt like out of all the characters in Batman the Animated Series, the Riddler was the one who was utilized the least, unfortunately. Because, you know, this came out right before Batman Forever, so I mean, we would be getting him then. But, like, Frank Gorshin was really popular as Riddler in the 60s show and in, like, Batman the movie. Who cares about the other guy? But the Riddler is one of Batman's most famous rogues gallery. I think, like, outside of Joker, like, I think Riddler might be at least 2 or 3 in terms of popularity. I want to say the Riddler is, like, well, because Catwoman, I guess Catwoman would be number 2, but she's more of like an anti-hero. But in terms of Batman villains, Joker is 1, and then number 2 is either like Riddler or Two-Face, I'd say. But it is kind of tough to like, you know, choose because he's got so many great villains. But I do love the Riddler, and I do think he makes this episode really cool. So, yep, I think that's all I have to say. One more Riddler-focused episode, because I think he appears in like 1 or 2 other ones, but it is unfortunate that the Riddler didn't get too many episodes in Batman the Animated Series. I know he was tough to write for, but shows like The Batman, they had like 50 Riddler-centered episodes, and the Riddler is way more like creepy and terrifying in that show than he was in this, but I did like John Glover's performance, and he was actually like in Smallville, I believe, and also in Batman and Robin, he's Dr. Jason Woodrue. So this guy has some experience inside of like the DC universe in terms of like playing characters and that. So, but anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. I wanted to thank you all for watching it. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode. Anything else? Yeah, social media. Some people have been asking me about like social media and some comments and that, like, hey, what do you have and that. I do have a Twitter account which you can follow me at Sean JT King, SeanJTKing. So if you're ever on Twitter and follow that, you know, go ahead. I'll try and leave a link in the description if I remember. But yeah, you can follow that. You know, we can talk some other shit. It doesn't have to be like Batman the Animated Series. It can be kind of really anything like movie, TV, or video game related. Sometimes I'll talk about sports, but not really all that often. And yeah, but yeah, so that's that. Not much else to say, but thanks for watching, everybody. I did like this episode, and once again, when I finish doing these unscripted reviews, which, you know, could be a little better than what they're at right now, I'll do a full written review on the entire Batman the Animated Series run. So, yeah, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, everyone.